Thank you.
All
Thank you.
clear.
Thank you.
So, good
Lala,
afternoon,
please go ahead.
everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for this very exclusive webinar with the Second Faculty of Medicine, Charles University. Today's webinar will go on for 1 hour. First, we will discuss about the university, and in the second half, we will have the Q&A session where you can type your questions in and we'll be clearing them out. So today we have Miss Anna, Professor Milan, and Yuan from the Second Faculty with us. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Anna Pecharova, and I currently work as a guidance counselor of the Second Faculty of Medicine. My day-to-day work involves providing counseling, coordinating support services, and promoting a positive school culture. And I'm very pleased to be joined today by two wonderful colleagues of mine, Professor Milan Macek, the head of the Department of Biology and Medical Genetics. Welcome.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, everybody.
And Yuvan Shricharantai Chapa, a second-year student who's the representative of the Board of Students, and he's the secretary of the Association of Medical Students Abroad. And also we have another student here, Abigail, so welcome. So I think I will start here. My presentation is divided into 3 sections. The first section is dedicated to the Czech Republic and Prague, the capital of our country. The second part will talk about the Charles University itself. And the last part is focusing on the Second Faculty of Medicine and how it is to study here. In the last 15 minutes of our presentation, you will have your room to ask questions regarding your studies here, the experience of our students, how it is to live in Prague, how was the admissions, etc. So, welcome. Are the slides changing? Yes, so let's turn now to the presentation itself. Czech Republic is a landlocked country located in the center of Europe. It's full of medieval cities, and in the picture you can see the Český Krumlov. It's stated on the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and at the very beginning of the school year, you will have a chance to travel around and see some of our historical cities here. Or in this picture, you see a picture of Krkonoše, which is the highest mountain range in Czech Republic, up north from Prague, and it's known for the unique alpine tundra ecosystem. In the picture, you can see that there is snow. We do have 4 seasons in Czech Republic, which might give you some experience of discovering more of yourself as the season is changing, the temperature is getting lower, the days are shorter, and the snow obviously brings a lot of joy to our students from abroad, but also to us Czechs who really are fond of going outside, hiking and skiing. So I believe you also will experience some of our winter activities while living here in Prague and in Czechia. The capital of Czech Republic is Prague, as I mentioned before. It's a multicultural city where you will experience a lot of going on. We have theaters, you can visit some concerts and festivals. Prague is very known for its historical atmosphere, which I believe Professor Macek will agree with that there is a lot to do. In the afternoon, also in the evening, but also in the morning, it's always changing, and you can see also many students there because we have the Charles University, which has 18 faculties in total, which will give you extra time and chance to meet also students from different faculties around Prague.
Maybe I just add to Anna. Thank you very much for this lovely introduction. And I just wanted to say that also what we reckon, and we gather feedback from many years, and I'm at the faculty for over 30 years. So we get a feedback that Prague, first and foremost, is a very safe city. It's according to many international ranking, it's one of the safest cities. And also in terms of quality of life, it's in the top 20 cities in Europe, and it's in the sort of, let's say, fifth percentile worldwide. So, I mean, this is a very pleasant city, which not only has the historical bit, which Anna just introduced, but it's a dynamic city with a lot of culture, nightclubs, dining out, you name it, and you don't have to be afraid to walk around in the evening. Of course, naturally, as in all European cities, you need to be aware of pickpockets and sort of general safety or safety precautions, in crowds, but otherwise it's fine. And also, what I want to say, this is also reflected by the fact that the Czech passport is top, let's say, 6 in the world in the domain of Singapore, or let's say Austria, Sweden, and you name it, just on Switzerland, because we are rated as a very safe and pleasant country, which has visa-free, I would say, travel all over the world. So for you international students, you will love it, and it's a dynamic city which offers much more than smaller cities, for instance, in Europe, where Quadri is also represented.
Thank you very much. And that's not actually all we have to say about Prague. As you can see, the reasonable living cost is somewhere between 500 to 800 euros per month. Obviously, it is very individual, but if you decide to live in the dormitories, which we strongly recommend, to spend your first year at the dormitory, you should be somewhere around 500 to 800 euros monthly, also covering your public transport ticket, which you can see in the next slide, that the ticket cost per year is around 50 euros, and you really can get around the whole Prague and its suburbs. It's a very reliable way to get around city. You can also decide to walk, which I know that for our foreign students from UAE, for example, might seem a little strange at the very beginning, but maybe Abigail could add to this, that you get used to walking around and experiencing the life in streets, so-called. Right? All right. And now let's talk about the Charles University. It was founded in 1348 by Charles IV, the emperor, and it ranks among the top 2% of universities worldwide. At the very beginning, there used to be only 4 faculties. In these days, there are another 17 faculties, who it could be faculty of science, the faculty of education, or the first faculty of medicine, the second faculty of medicine, and the third faculty of medicine. We will talk about the difference between the faculties maybe later if you are interested. Maybe for now, it will be enough if I say that we are all part of Charles University. We just have different campuses. The size of the faculties is different from each other. We are rather smaller faculty, which adds to the family-like atmosphere at our campus, which is something I really value, because the students, they know each other, they know the staff of professors, and also we know them personally, which really adds to this well-being feeling when you are around. That's from my own perspective. Here are listed some of the famous figures linked to the Charles University. Franz Kafka, he studied law in Prague. He was a German writer living in Prague in Czech Republic, or Jan Hus, who was the reformer of the faculty, or Albert Einstein, who was actually teaching at the German part of the Charles University. Here are some of the numbers linked to the faculty. You can have a look that we have 1,700 students in total, which combines the Czech parallel together with the English-speaking students. Usually, the size of a grade is around 100 students. Last year, we had 130 students. The year before, we had about 80 students. So we are aiming to be somewhere in between, as I said, to have 100 students per year, which will give you enough time and space once you are divided into smaller groups There are usually around 15 students in a group, and that will give you that extra time with professors and your students during your classes. Let's say if you have a dissection practice, you will really have your hands-on experience, and you will have enough space to ask your own questions and really get the hang of what's going on in the classes. Our study program takes 6 years. The first 3 years you will spend in our Plzeňská campus. You are warmly invited to come to Prague, and I will give you a tour around, which is something I really enjoy to do, because that's when the students can actually see and feel the atmosphere of our campus. You can meet the students from upper years, and you will see our dissection rooms, the anatomy department. We will walk around between University Model Hospital and our Plzeňská campus. In the first 3 years, you will be having subjects like anatomy, histology or embryology, physiology, Latin, and also Czech. And you will be learning Czech, aiming to be on a level A2, maybe B1 language level. Before, in the following 4th year, you will be already having your clinical subjects in the hospital, and that's when you will be shadowing doctors in the hospital and visiting patients yourself. And for that matter, you need to know some basics of Czech, asking how the patient is feeling, measuring its temperature, maybe discovering a little more about the patient, so you can get into the problematics why he's actually visiting the hospital. So for that, we also have mandatory Czech classes, which will begin already before the academic year starts, during our Freshers Week. And that's when you will have very intensive Czech course. And I think it's important to mention that's not something to worry about. Czech is a very beautiful language. It's difficult indeed, but you will be living in Prague, and I believe you will also pick it up on the street. You will be reading signs in supermarkets. You will go shopping yourself. You will have your fellow Czech students alongside. So there is no evidence of students actually not being able to finish their studies because of learning Czech, even though it sounds scary at the beginning. And then after the first 3 years at Plzeňská campus, you will move
Not
to...
that I dare to add to Anna, if I just may. Sorry, Anna,
Please.
for interrupting. But not only, and we hear it from our students and we see it, everybody under 45 speaks very, very fluent English. So since Prague is an international city, so you will sort of rarely come into a situation where you will need to use, as we say, hands and legs to express yourself. So it's really not a major issue to deal with. And Czech is difficult, but you will learn it, as Anna says. It's not that hard in the end.
Yes, thank you for adding up. And there are also much more difficult subjects ahead of you, like biophysics, physiology, or anatomy. But you are in your best years when your brain is still developing and it's absorbing a lot of information. So I think that's the time to challenge yourself, and that you will do well. Abigail is smiling, so I think she understands. And the last 3 years, as I said, you won't spend at our Plzeňská campus, but in the Motol University Hospital. And your subjects, your education will be so-called block education. It means that you will have few weeks of theory, and then it will be followed by shadowing the doctor in the hospital, doing your rotations, and actually visiting the different departments regarding to what you are actually learning about at school. And this would be internal medicine, gynecology, pediatrics, etc. And now let's talk about how to get to our faculty, how to be accepted. So our admissions are two-step examination. Firstly, you will take a test. It's a written test consisting of biology, physics, chemistry, and logic. Once you successfully pass this written part, you will be invited to an interview. This interview, you will have a dialogue with 3 of our esteemed professors. You will draw a question, and there is usually the topic is regarded to some of the controversial topics of medicine. It will be either about, now I'm just giving examples, let's say abortion or DNA testing or home care. There is no good or bad answer. This interview is aiming to see how prepared for the medical field you are, how well you can actually lead a dialogue with our professors, if you are connecting the dots, and how much of the background you know. This is not about seeing all the facts and hearing the numbers that you have for us, rather about having a conversation on the topic that you draw of a question. Also, if you are doing your, yes, please, your microphone is off, Professor. You are on mute. Professor, if you are, pane profesore,
I lost the connection. I'm sorry. I just wanted to add to Anna very, very quickly that the final interview, which just Anna alluded to, is done in a very, very friendly manner, because you will see us, you will see our faculty representatives, and it's mainly aimed, and we see that over the years from multiple international exams, is how a given applicant is sort of knowledgeable in general terms, according to the age, according to the school, according to where they studied, according to their nationality. How aware are they of, I would say, broader biomedical concepts which are out there, which you can hear in the media and so on. This way, we sort of assess how a given person, how a given applicant is sort of motivated to study, because usually we see in those who are very well oriented that they also have a very high motivation to study. So it's something like what the United States schools are doing, is to see mainly the motivation and the background of the applicant beyond the written multiple choice questions.
Exactly.
Sorry, Anna.
No problem. Thank you very much for commenting on this. Also, there is an option being accepted to our faculty without doing the entrance exam. There is an exemption given, and that would be if you study an IB program and your minimum points would be 19 points in high-level biology, high-level chemistry, and either high-level mathematics or high-level or standard level physics. There are also exemptions for students who are not studying IB program. This is more specific, and I would really ask you to get in touch with my colleague Vera Hall, or either myself, and I will send your comments to her, because if you are very gifted students and you have perfect grades at your high school diploma, this is something we also look at, and you might have an exemption of entrance exam. You can find
And
out more.
excuse me, can you just also explain that you need the actual grade? It's not a predicted grade. That means they must have completed the IB, not this one. That means that if you are expecting this grade this year, it will not happen. They can apply next year. No, that's what there's a confusion. No, can you please explain this? No, yeah.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Kadri. So we do this regarding your predicted grades, and it's up to you whether you decide to give us your predicted grades, where you have your 19 points in total or more. And then you prove yourself at the end once, because we are in touch, we do have a contract with the IB system. So once your grades are released, we download them and we double check whether you actually have gotten the 19 points or not. If you feel like you might have your predicted grades are 19 points, but you are afraid that you won't fulfill this expectation, we really encourage you to take the entrance exam, because you can't apply twice. You either apply once through your predicted grades, or you will do the entrance exam, the admissions, either with Dr. Kadri in Dubai or in Prague, or it's all up to you. But as you said, the predicted grades are something we also look at, or if you graduated last year, you just send us your high school diploma with your points there. Did I answer your question, Dr. Kadri? I hope I explained myself
Yes.
well.
Yes,
Maybe
yes,
I
yes.
just can add again experience from entrance exams. Usually
Yes,
those
please, brother.
are
Yeah.
you have these predicted, so essentially it's in the process. So usually they perform extremely well during the standard routine
Yeah.
entrance exams. So I have to say it's not a big deal to go for the direct written and oral, because usually those people who are sort of in the pipeline, as we say, usually perform extremely well in the entrance exams themselves.
Yes, okay, thank you. Also important. And now we are moving on to the QR code, where you can find out more about the entrance examination, about the study program, and our website. So I will leave it here for a while, so you can download the QR code and find out later after the presentation what is hidden behind. And our 6-year program, it leads us now to our next point, which is a degree recognition. So the degree you will get from the second faculty of medicine will allow you to practice on a medical field abroad, around the whole Europe, also in the United States of America. There is an agreement with Medical Board of California that our students are taking the USMLE tests in other states around United States. But there is a Medical Board of California who actually accepts our diploma, and you can also practice medicine there after your graduation in Prague. If you decide to do the USMLE comparison tests, our students have a 99 to 100% success rate, which we are very, very proud of. And that gives us hope that our students are actually doing well even abroad. So the program acknowledgement is given all around Europe, Germany, Sweden, Norway, or also in Israel or United Arab Emirates, etc. Our tuition fees are around 17,000 euros per academic year. You don't have to pay in advance. We give you 1 month in Czechia to find out about whether you feel confident living abroad, experiencing our faculty atmosphere, and then you're supposed to pay your tuition fees by the end of October. That's also the difference, which makes it differs us from other faculties in Prague, that you don't have to pay your fees before enrolling to your studies at second faculty of medicine. For the best percent of our students, we give out scholarships. This is a student. Her name is Dana, and that's her picture with the dean of our faculty, because she was given the scholarship for the past 2 years, actually. And now let's have a look at our model university hospital. So it's the largest hospital in Central Europe, also the largest pediatric hospital in Central Europe. In the picture, you see the pediatric hospital with also oncology department for the little patients. Doesn't mean that we only focus on pediatrics at our faculty. We also focus on other departments of the medical field the same way. It's just that if you are interested in pediatrics, you will have very high chance of doing internships in this modern and large pediatric hospital. You will have wide range of chance seeing a lot of little patients there with different diagnoses and treating them later on. So
May I just add to Anna? May I
Mhm.
just very, very quickly, Anna?
Please.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think
No.
it's very important, and students ask that. Since it's not like primary pediatrics, but the main point of our faculty, beyond the sort of family environment, is that we all focus on developmental aspects of medicine, which means from pediatrics to adulthood. So you essentially will, or the applicants and then the alumni will get a very broad portfolio of skills, which makes us very competitive. And also, since we are focused on developmental aspects of medicine, because we develop all the time until from birth to death, then we also are very strong in research. So it's also good for people who would like to combine their medical studies with some, let's say, academic work, doing MD, PhD, and so on. And this is what is very much valued by our European and US and Middle Eastern partners.
Thank you very much. That's actually something we also have a slide about that I would like you to add something to the research at our faculty later. So far, we are at the more modern technology we have for our students prepared at the anatomy department. This is the anatomage table that you see in the picture, because you will be doing your dissection practice from the very beginning of your studies. You start doing dissections in the first year of your studies in Prague, and you will be doing it on real cadavers, on real bodies. And we really encourage you to combine your hands-on experience with this amazing educational material, which is the digital dissection table. There are 4 bodies scanned of different gender and different age, also different cause of death. And you have a chance to look into the body in different layers and seeing different parts of the body. Let's say that you would like to see the different organs, or you can look at the brain, you can look at the skeleton, and you can always turn it around, see it from all different perspectives. And it really adds to your learning experience, seeing the body as a whole and turning it around, which is something that might be difficult to do on the dissection table itself. It's not replaceable with the real dissection, because the hands-on experience is really irreplaceable. That will be your first patient, but seeing it from the inside out onto the digital table, it's something we really value, or our students enjoy, I would say. We also organize robotic Olympics. Our upper year students have a chance to participate in the Olympics when they actually work with the modern machines and technologies like robots. You can see in the picture here 2 of our finalists of last year robotic Olympics. And the clinical studies, that's when the students shadow doctors around the hospital. They are seeing their own practice, how it goes, how the doctor actually communicates with the patient, how he prepares for surgery, which you can see in the picture. And that's when they are also deciding what would be the best expertise for them to specialize later on. Because once you finish our 6-year program, you will have a general idea of medicine, and you still need to finish your specialization on the on a given field. That you can focus on pediatrics, you can focus on surgery, on psychiatries, you name it yourself, and that's when you will focus and spend most of your time in this department at the hospital. Also, something you can do abroad. You don't have to specialize in Prague or in Europe. And here is the competitive research that Professor Macek has already talked about a little, and I would like to ask him for a few more words regarding the research we are doing at our faculty.
Well, I have to say, Anna, sorry for jumping in a bit earlier, but the research group really have a worldwide impact. For instance, one of our faculty members who died, I would say, a year ago, he barely missed the Nobel Prize, and thanks to his development of HPV vaccination against cervical cancer, now a recent Lancet paper has shown that the death rates all over, I would say, worldwide have fallen dramatically in women. So there's a worldwide impact. We are very strong in pediatric cancer, either hemato-oncology. Our groups are on top of the, I would say, top of the cream in the world, and part of many, let's say, international, either European Union or NIH USA programs, or even Wellcome Trust and so on. And over 100 research grants were granted in 2023, which is just really amazing. There's a lot of international collaborations. I can just name European reference networks for rare diseases or various, let's say, professional consortia, either US or local in neurology, genetics, biochemistry, you name it, cardiology. And the two new research buildings are just under construction. So we will have what the, let's say, international university have, not only the preclinical teaching building, the PTCB, but also we will have a dedicated research building where students can already start in their postgraduate years, either as elective or postgraduate as a PhD. So things are open, and I think it's one of our real tangible strengths.
Thank you very much. Also, just to add one last word, that this multifunctional building that is built actually in process right now of building, you students who will be accepted for the next academic year will already have a chance to practice in this building, because it will be just opened once you will be in the third or second year of study, and that gives you a high chance of also practicing there. And here are some of our esteemed colleagues and professors who were awarded and listed in some rankings. For example, Professor Jan Stary or Professor Tomáš Kalina, who is still active on the board of the faculty, or Dr. Bloomfield and Paračková. And this we are getting to the second part of our presentation, maybe the very last part, and that would be the Freshers Week and how it feels to our students to study here in Czechia. So your studies will start with the Freshers Week, which is in the middle of September. It's a week or 10 days full of team building activities, doing some sightseeing around Prague, having some field trip to the suburbs of Prague, having the Czech lessons, as I mentioned before, that you will be in the morning, you will have Czech classes, and in the afternoon, you will have fun activities with upper year students that organize some also evening events for you, but also the field trip to Karlštejn Castle, for example, which is not far away from Prague. And you will start actually melting into the Prague culture, I would say. And the high point of the Freshers Week is a white coat ceremony. That's a moment where also your parents are invited, and you will be given the white coat. You can have a look at Professor Macek. He's also wearing one right now. And this is when you actually put on your shoulders the responsibility, and you should also realize the burden that you are putting on yourself when you dedicate your life to medicine, because it starts with very demanding and difficult studies, but also it goes on with giving your life to science and to treating people, and it's something very I would say not only physically difficult, but also mentally, and your emotions. I think you will be given a big responsibility by becoming a doctor. So this is the moment to celebrate your decision, you being accepted, and you starting the new journey in a foreign city and country. So we also invite your parents for this event.
I have to say it's highly memorable. And also for your parents, because you start your career, and it's in fact the finalization of the Hippocrates oath, which you will give at the beginning of your studies. And once you you start fulfilling the Hippocrates oath, usually there's a certain dress code. I'm saying in a funny way, but this is something not only for you, but very symbolic for your parents, which were highly dedicated to you and brought all the applicants to the start of their professional career. And I say that as a father of a daughter, and I know it from my colleagues. This is always a very touching moment and very symbolic. And also, it's quite, I mean, I would say rewarding, in a way for all of us to see new colleagues getting on board. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted to say. Sorry for this sort of, let's say, emotional, but that's how it is. And that's also part of the family sort of touch, which we try to apply throughout your studies.
Yes, it's very touching, even just talking about it right now.
Yeah,
It makes
exactly.
me emotional. Thank you for adding up. And also, as part of your study life balance, we also have sport clubs at our faculty. If you're not really fond of doing sports like basketball or being part of an ice hockey team or cheerleaders, this is our Crazy Bones dancing group. There are also different groups of students who gather together. As I mentioned already, the Association of International Medical Students, where you can have your own word regarding the run of the faculty or what do you like to improve, and you can be part of the little politics, I would say. So you are also warmly invited here. You can be part of some research group, or you can just enjoy the nice atmosphere around our faculty, just walking down the hallway and seeing other students interacting together. So here you see some field trip to the mountains. I believe students also enjoy going skiing or snowboarding or cross-country skiing together. Basketball team I mentioned already, or some other fun events that students do together. Also, part of your studies in Prague would be doing some exchange program. We strongly recommend you to start traveling abroad and doing your internships after you finish your first 3 years of study. That's when most of the theory will be done. And then you can do your internships also in UAE or in Germany, in United States, in India, wherever you decide. You can be part of the Erasmus Plus program. I myself studied in Germany, so I know that you always discover a little more of yourself once you are exposed to different culture, different rhythm, different rituals, and you see different city and people there are always having different manners. So it always gives you this introspective feeling that you can look at yourself from different perspective, and actually it gives you some direction, I believe, of discovering more of the world around yourself. So if you are open-minded student, then you are, which I believe you are, as you already are deciding whether to apply to Czechia or a different country abroad of your home country, this will be, I think, also an amazing option for you to choose from. And just to conclude very briefly, I would like to again mention that we are a family-like faculty. In the picture, you see the dean of the faculty. He's the head of urology department also. And we are all excited to welcome you on board of our faculty. And just to mention is that as you are coming from UAE or other countries from eastern part of the world, you really need to start filling in your visas very early. And Dr. Kadri actually mentioned before that the number of seats and chairs are actually are increasing, that it's slowly getting all full up. So I want you to encourage not to wait too long when you are deciding whether to apply or not, because you might not have a chance to do it later in the springtime or so. I don't know if Mr. Kadri would like to add something to that or not.
Yes, I would just like to add that if you want to apply, we do conduct the entrance examination twice a year. One is in Jan, one is in April. So in this either case, you have to register now for the entrance examination. Otherwise, you might not get the seat to sit for the entrance examination because we are getting full very quickly. So please don't wait, and you can apply as soon as possible.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
for adding up. Yeah.
And maybe just if I can very quickly add up, for those who would like to study surgery, our dean is in front of a state-of-the-art robotic surgery device, and we have an international school for robotic surgery, which you can apply all over the world, and there are very few places in the world which would be accredited for robotic surgery. So this is very, I would say, appealing for those of you or those applicants who would like to be involved in surgical fields. And you know that with the development of AI, surgical fields will, I would say, gain a little bit more prominence. They are still very important, but even more prominence because hands-on and robotic surgery is something of the future. So that's why our dean is sitting in front of the robotic surgery device.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so this is all from our side, and now I think it's time for the questions and answer. If there are some, I believe that Dr. Kadri or Ms. Zahra will share
Yes.
those questions with us, and then also we can, our students can join us and answer some of the student-targeted questions.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ms. Anna and Professor Milan, for the great presentation. So we'll move on to the Q&A session as mentioned before. This is where students, you can type your questions. There should be a button at the center bottom of your screen that says Q&A. I can already see quite a lot of questions pouring in, so let's get to it. By the first question is by Mahat. Is there any entrance exam exemption for A-level grades?
Yes, there is, and you need to have all straight A's in biology, chemistry, and physics. Also, if you downloaded the QR code, there is more detailed information about it, but A-level grades are also accepted among one of the exemptions that we give out for the admissions. Yes.
All right. We have around 5 questions by Shazia, but they're all related to the dentistry program. So can we clarify that first?
No, at the second faculty of medicine, we do not offer any dentistry program, but you can look at the first faculty of medicine or in Pilsen or different universities in Czechia. They do have dentistry programs there. We only offer a general medicine program.
Okay. And as part of her question, she wanted to clarify if the Edexcel International A levels would be accepted. If so, what grades would be expected?
I'm not aware of Edexcel grades, so that's a question regarded to.
Can I add? Can I add something, Anna?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, I mean, university do not have any specific requirement for any kind of curriculum, whether it's a British, American, IB, I mean Indian or the Filipino. As long as you finish your high school and your high school is approved in your home country and you pass the entrance examination, they'll accept you. So we are not considering any kind of special like Edexcel or CIE or this one anything, but it has to be high school, no. So that's why we don't need APs. Like if you are from the American system, we don't require APs or SAT or there's nothing, no. As long as you pass your high school and you pass the entrance examination, we'll accept you. That's the only criteria.
Yes,
Thank
Yes.
you.
exactly. And that's how we also, since given the success rate, Dr. Quadri, in USMLE, that's why we
Yes.
would like to see and we prefer to see the applicants because, we have lifelong experience and we can already sort of judge from their behavior and from their orientation how successful they would be. And I hope you understand what I mean. It's the nonverbal communication and everything. The motivation is key.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yes.
Okay. Second question of Shazia is what we've already answered. Third is about the entrance exam. Is it tested online or in person for international students?
It is all tested in person. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dr.
we
Kadri,
prefer
he
that.
organizes admissions in Dubai, as he mentioned before, twice a year in January and in April. If you miss out on these, we also organize our own in April and in June or July. So we need to see you writing the test and being part of the interview. We doesn't allow it to be online.
Yes, the entrance examination will be like in Dubai on February 1st or May 9. So you can choose either to sit for the exam. There will be no online option for the second faculty. So either you come to Dubai, or you have to travel to Prague to take the entrance examination. Again, I mean, Prague dates are suitable for those who do not require a visa, because after that you have to apply for the visa, and that takes a lot of time to apply for the visa. So I prefer that you should take the entrance examination nearby, and the early date rather than late. No.
May I just maybe, Dr. Quadri, a very, again, from my own experience and as a faculty member and as a teacher, I have to say that we really like to see our applicants in person. And it's also for them, because, if you select the people in a right way on personality basis and you don't get anyone sort of out of the blue into the class, then also the study groups and everything runs very smoothly because the personalities are more or less compatible. We also see the people, and that again is part of our sort of family atmosphere. So just view it as I would say linked jugs of water that we try to be sort of selective in a positive way on the entrance exam, because that's also for all the applicants and for all the students to have a pleasant 6 years experience and not to have any, I would say in a funny way, black sheep or somebody who would be completely incompatible amongst them. That's why we prefer the on-site and interviews, because we see it as a success, and it's part of the broader success of our medical school.
All right. Next question of Shazia is about the yearly tuition fee, but we'll talk about the medicine program.
Should I answer that question of the early tuition fees, or we covered that during the presentation, right?
Yes, we did.
All right.
And her last question is, in which year do students begin hands-on clinical training with patients?
So the clinical training starts in the 4th year, and the hands-on experience starts with their first dissections and the nursery. That is the nursing, not nursery, sorry, the nursing subject, which is in the 1st year already.
Okay. Arshia's question about the date for entrance exam, we discussed that already. She's also asking, is there any exemption from the entrance exam for ISC students?
No, but if you send your either predicted grades or the diploma you have to my colleague, Miss Vera Hall, she can give you more detailed answer to that.
And I'm also going to be dropping in our contact details in the chat box, so you could always share your queries further with us too, so we could communicate with the university. Next question is by Adnan. Okay, Adnan is asking about any scholarships if he has taken 2 APs, SATs, and IELTS.
There are no scholarships given ahead. You need to prove yourself first that you're an excellent student during your 1st year of study, and that's when you will be given a scholarship later.
Okay, and the second part of the question we had also covered during the presentation, but if we could just brush it up, would the students need to pay the tuition fees if they got accepted?
I'm sorry, I don't think I understood the question fully.
Yeah.
Me neither. I didn't get it.
So when would the students need to pay the tuition fees if they got the offer letter or if they got accepted?
I think we have covered this one.
Yes.
We have covered this one, that once you are there and before you start your classes, you have to pay the fees. No,
You pay
so
your
before
fees
that, yeah,
until the end of October. That's when that's
yeah.
the deadline for paying the tuition fee. You can enroll first in the middle of September. You spend 1 month here seeing how it is, and then you still can decide whether you are staying and being our student or not, and you're paying in the end of October.
Maybe can I just quickly, Anna, maybe you can go back to the slide with the QR code, because it was there
Yes.
quite shortly. And whilst we discuss these questions, people can scan it again. How
Thank
about
you.
that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, here it is. One more.
This one?
No, the next one with the QR code. Ah, here you go. Yes, this one.
There we are. Okay. Oh,
And
no.
now we can continue with the questions. Sorry for, yeah, it
Here we
jumped
are.
back. Yeah.
All right. We have a question by Basma. How would you practice medicine in Czech Republic after getting an MD degree from Charles?
Mhm. That's actually one of agendas that I'm occupied right now with. So once you finish your 6-year degree, and you have the general medicine education, and you need to find your specialization. So once you do know that, now I will say blindly that you want to be a surgeon, you will start doing your specialization. The first part takes 30 months, and it's, let's say, general. And then after finishing these 30 months in Czechia, you will have another 4 years of study, already shadowing doctor in the hospital and doing some surgery yourself, but you will be under supervision of another doctor who already has this experience. And you, at this point, you will have to be fluent in Czech language. You can't be on the language level of A2 or B1. You'll be also you will have to pass a language test aiming for B2 C1 language level, because you will be doing these exams in Czech. Yeah.
All right. The next few questions are about the exact requirements for each student. So case by case, we're not going to be discussing in the webinar. Once again, you can reach out to our office for the case by case evaluation, and the recording of this webinar will be available just to avoid repeated questions. Rehan is asking, does the annual tuition fees have to be paid all at once, or can it be split into installments?
There's an option to pay it in installments. So you can pay it twice or maybe sometimes 3 times in some, if you always have to justify the decision of paying in installments, and you send your request to the vice dean for admission, Professor Kachlik, and then he decides whether your reasons are acceptable or not to pay in installments, 2 or 3 of them.
That's on case-to-case basis only, not a normal practice.
It's
Normally,
not a
you need
normal
to pay the full.
practice.
Yeah. So that's what I said. So do not depend on this one that you say, okay, I'll pay in 2 installment, and if they refuse, then you'll be shocked. So in general, you have to pay the full fees, but in special circumstances, you have to apply, and if they approve, then you can pay in installment now.
Yes, I agree with you, Dr. Kadri, because we know that the price might be too high for some of the students, and also the family situation or the circumstances, they can change, and we understand that. So for those whose circumstances of family background or financial backgrounds change, there is always space to discuss this and to obviously understand this your reasons, and that's when you are allowed to pay in installments. Otherwise, if everything is going smoothly, you should be paying all at once. Yeah.
All right. Next question is requesting if you could elaborate on the cooperation between the California Medical Board and Charles, and will the students if they will be exempted from doing the USMLE?
So the Medical Board of California agreement, that's only regarding the state of California. So that's when you don't have to do your first step of USMLE examination. Otherwise, the USMLE tests and the comparison examination you have to do in all other countries of United States of America, which I already mentioned that the successful rate is 99.5 or 6%. So that shouldn't be a big deal for our graduates.
All right. Jyotsna is asking.
Especially, and I can add to Anna, in USMLE, if you do the USMLE right after your medical. Yeah, I just wanted to say that if you do USMLE right after your medical studies, the students are so well prepared that the extra effort to do USMLE is not that hard compared to other medical schools. They are really ready from the state exams very well.
All right. I think this also partly answers Aisha's question if the university provides USMLE prep classes.
No, we don't, but it's something I'm working on at the moment to have those classes in our curriculum, but we don't have it yet. It's something, as Professor Masek has already mentioned, that our 6-year education prepares you well, maybe even perfect, to be successful during your USMLE tests. But we don't. So at this moment, we don't have any preparation classes for that. But I know it's a very common question, and some of the students would really appreciate that to have this option. So it might be some compulsory subject in some future years.
All right. Jyotsna is asking about these scholarships. Are they only for academics, or is there or are they counted for extracurriculars like sports? And what would be the percentage from second year onwards?
So the scholarships are only for your academic results. There are no extracurriculars that would become part of your that would affect your grades. So then it would cover your yearly tuition fee once you are in top 10% of our students.
I'm sorry, Anna, may I just add to the previous question also,
Yes, please.
Zahra? I had some poor connection here in the hospital. I'm at the ward. I just wanted to say USMLE is, I would say, tuition and preparation for USMLE. It can be done at other universities. I've seen that, but it's based on costs because it's not a standard pre-grad curriculum. So, I mean, one of the reasons is that it would also increase the tuition costs. So, I think, Anna, if we sort of arrange for that, we need to be very careful because there are other programs which are beyond our medical schools and they're quite costly. So, I mean, we can offer it competitively, but it won't be I mean, students or their families paying for that because it's not part of the standard pre-grad curriculum. I just
Exactly.
wanted to clarify that.
Yes, exactly.
Right. We have next two similar questions, one by Hashim, one by Hania. So, what is the difference between the different faculties of Charles University?
So the differences in the size of study groups, also in the size of campus. Originally, we used to be one faculty, then we split into 3 faculties, and now they all were orientated or focused on different parts of the medical field. Some of maybe that's something that Professor Matzek could still answer himself better, as he still remembers these times.
Yes. Well, I have to just say, Anna, as you said, it was one large medical school, but it became unpractical because all of a sudden we had 700 students in one class, which is at the expense of quality. And that's the main point. Secondly, the other reason why it was divided, you have the same in Paris. You have Université Paris Sud and Université Paris Nord, and it's still Sorbonne, for instance, right? It's still one university. So, I mean, it got divided, and we are not competitors. No, come on, not at all. And we have this question all the time. We are in very friendly relationships. But still, the first medical school, it's also in Prague, and the main difference is a larger study groups, much more students in one study group, over let's say 200 to 300, and also the clinical teaching is arranged throughout various other hospitals, which are sort of subcontracted to the first medical school. While in our second medical school, it's one campus. And that's the most important part. You don't waste time traveling around between various hospitals, various clinics, and so on. And you can really concentrate on, I would say, a close-knit campus. So essentially, campus work. And the third medical school, they are at the eastern part of Prague. They are also doing well, have small study groups as well. But their approach to studies is completely different to us. They don't study subject by subject, but they study by organ systems. So first you learn the cell, and then you learn, I don't know, about mitochondria from, I would say, from the basic biology to their function in medicine, like rare syndromes associated with mitochondria. And then throughout your clinical years, you study anything about the liver, then you study anything about the eye, and so on. So they have a completely different sort of organ group focused studies, while we have more sort of European traditional one. I'm not saying it's wrong, bad or wrong, better or less, but our main, I would say, and again, we are big friends and we collaborate together, but our main, I would say, plus mark for the second medical school is the developmental aspects, one close-knit campus, family environment. Students are selected by the faculty on site, so we know who's coming and we know their personalities. And this is how it is. And maybe Abigail and our students can tell us more how they see it from the other side. Maybe I can be biased as a faculty member, but that's my honest long-term experience.
Right. We have the next two questions similar to how can the students prepare for the entrance exam and how long would you recommend for them to prepare?
So that's something I would ask Abby to answer this question. How was she preparing for the exams and how lucky she was to be accepted here?
For me, I studied at British International School, so at Excel A level, maths, chemistry, and biology. But just in case I might not get the good grade at the end, I joined the entrance exam at Thailand. But I will recommend to do the entrance exam instead of just believing yourself you will be successful at the end of your A level or IB. Because a lot of people over here come with the entrance exam actually. For the entrance exam, if you're preparing, if you're going to the website, you can see the example questions. I think I will recommend you guys to try all the questions over there and then use that things to make sure that you know all the words and terms at that paper. If you know everything, you can be prepared with your written exams. But remind you that written is difficult, not with the theory, is because it's multiple choice without the limit of the answer. So it can be your choice will be 4 or 5, but everything can be the answer. Not only one is the answer. That's the main point of that exam. For the logic part, it should be fine. Just try to study the subjects you didn't study at the high school. For example, for me, I focus on studying in physics because I didn't take A-level physics. An interview should be fine if you're just really patient about coming to Prague and study at this faculty. And also if you're interested in medical things a little bit, like reading some newspapers or something like that, should be fine with the interview. They're really friendly.
Thank you, Abby.
I would just like to add here something that I saw one of the question that how long will it take to prepare for the exam. Now we have got an experience that there are students who do not prepare at all and they pass the entrance examination. There are some students who study for the whole year and they don't pass now. So that's really up to you. We cannot say that yes, you are from A level, you are from IB, or you are from CBSE, you will pass the exam. No, there is no guarantee even if you are a topper. No, so it depends on case to case basis. We cannot say anything. No, you will pass or you will fail. So please prepare yourself according to you. No, you know yourself better. No, so there is no hard and fast rule that only those students who are from this edexcel or CIE or the IB will pass. No, so it depends on case to case basis. No.
Yeah, I would really like to highlight what Abigail said earlier, that the written part you have there is a multiple choice of answering. It means that one answer could be correct, but also 4 of them could be correct, or only 2 of them, and you always have to mark all right answers. So that could be tricky for even those who prepare well, that they forget about the fact that. But even though we try to navigate before the admissions that and explain the rules, that the multiple choice is very tricky part of the written part.
Miss Anna, if I could add a bit.
Yes,
Sure. So I think a lot of questions are also about the interview part of the examination. So the interview is not regarding scientific questions. It's not about the subjects you read in school. It's more about the, let's say, the socio-economic perspectives you have regarding medicine and around it. It's a lot to do with ethics. It's a lot to do with how you perceive this field. I would say the questions are really, really interesting. Also, the people who are gonna be interviewing you are also you're gonna be your teachers in the future, so you have a good chance to meet them as well. And they're really, really nice. And as Miss Anna also mentioned, and Professor Milan, there are no right or wrong answers. It's more to understand the way you think. For example, during my interview, I had a question. Um, Regarding if I would ever conceal information from a patient. So obviously there's no right or wrong answers for questions like these. It's more what you feel is the correct option to do so. So I think it's quite okay, and I think I would really say that it's quite enjoyable as well, honestly.
Thank you, Yuvan. Next question is by Adnan. Is there any way students can skip the first or the evaluation year?
No, I think that when you are talking about the evaluation year, those are programs offered by different faculties. And we don't have like the evaluation year. You just start directly year number one, the first year until the end. So you basically skip it from the very beginning.
Yes.
All right. Um, Next question is about the entrance exam preparation by Sutir. We already answered that. Could you talk about Adnan's comment about the competition that the students would be facing because there's a limited number of seats that are accepted, right?
So this is very difficult to answer actually because the number of seats is not limited. We are limited by the number, like by the results at the exams. So it's always up to students how well they prepared and how well they perform during the exam, during the admissions, or at the also according to their predicted grades. So the number of seats per year are not limited by students, but each year the entrance exams they look slightly different, and the students they perform differently. So that's very individual.
Also, I can add to Anna, it's not a mandatory cap, to be honest, but mainly, one year we have more, one year we have less, but there's a certain sort of threshold which we don't want to pass, mainly because then the students group will get, let's say, bigger, and we will not be able also to offer high quality clinical training. The student to teacher ratio should be sort of in certain levels because we are not a mass production facility. Don't We are highly customized and highly, I would say, focused and dedicated faculty, and we don't want to sort of sacrifice quality for the numbers. That's why. But again, it's not a fixed cap, but we try to be within certain limits because mainly the internal wards or the surgery clinics, they have certain number of rooms, certain number of faculty, and so on and so forth. It's everywhere the same. It's also in the US. So, I mean, it's competitive, and the better you prepare, the better you are. Simple as this.
Mhm.
All right. I think we can take the last four questions now. Hashim is asking about the foundation course. We discussed that. Joel wants to know how many A levels is required to apply for the university.
So this is something we answered already. Also, you can see it under the QR code here. You need to have A-level biology, A-level chemistry, and either A-level physics or mathematics, all high level. So once you are having straight A's in those three subjects, you will be accepted without the admissions. There will be an entrance exam exemption. Otherwise, you are more than welcome to write the test with us.
Okay.
I also see another question regarding to the living costs in Prague, and I would kindly ask our students to answer this question because I know this is very individual. We all are on a different level of modesty regarding to living. So if you live in a dormitory, that gets cheaper, of course, but then also it's up to the way they spend their money in cafes or so. Maybe you could share some of your
Sure, Miss Anna.
experience.
I live in a student dormitory, a really nice one actually, very close to Prague Castle as well. So that always comes as a benefit, and it's very close to the faculty as well. I think one of the biggest benefits of living in a dormitory is, of course, your rent is, I would say, significantly very, very, very less as compared to maybe like having your own apartment or even maybe a flat share. Um, on top of that, I think the major cost, which I would say would be food, especially during your first year, because you'll be very much into studying. So I think most of your money will probably go into food. But apart from that, public transportation is extremely cheap. You have an yearly pass, which is around, if I'm not wrong, with your student card, 35 euros, which covers everything in Prague, including the metros, trams, and buses. So it is extremely cheap. As I said, the dorm rent is also extremely cheap. I would say, I know some of my friends studying back home in India. I think I pay way less than a lot of them, in fact. So dormitories are a really great option. Also, you get to stay with your friends, I think, which really helps you study. You have access to like study rooms. In fact, in my dormitory, we also have a 24 by 7 convenience store. So if I'm hungry or if you need anything, it's just like 6 floors below where I live. So you do have a lot of convenient options as well. Apart from this, as Miss Anna said, it depends a lot on the way you spend your money, but it can be more expensive, it can be less expensive as well. But the majority, if you live in the dorms, I don't think it should be like as expensive as renting an apartment.
Yes, the most expensive part of living in Prague is the housing and the price of accommodation. So once you decide to live in dormitories, who are the Charles University itself is responsible for dormitories, that's when you will save a lot of money if you compare it to renting your own apartment in the city center. There is also another option, which would be student housing. That's private accommodation for students. So that will be it will be a little more expensive than dormitories, and it's also further away from our campus. But it's an option in between the private accommodation in the city center and the dormitories. So it's also a way to go.
All right. Before we move on to the next question, I just wanted to mention our contact details and email ID for the application and for those students who wanted to have their individual application evaluated. Let's move on to the last question now, by Isha. Can the students practice in Europe and other countries like Canada, Australia, and the UK?
Yes. So after the 6-year program, you still need to find your specialization and finish your specialization, but you are allowed to do so in all European countries, but also abroad, as we discussed before. No questions.
All right, with that, I think we've wrapped up all the open questions. And if there's anything that you felt was unanswered, please always reach out to our office. We should be able to guide you. And I think this is where we can wrap up the session then. Thank you, Miss Anna, Professor Milan, Yuvan, and Abigail for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you, Professor, for supporting me. And I'm very happy to see our students here also, that you see it, you have the whole experience with our students and professors. Thank you.
Yeah, I can
Thank
only
you,
add.
Anna. Thank you, Professor.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
Professor.
And I
Thank
can
you, Anna.
only add
Thank
we
you,
are
all this.
looking forward for you guys. Sorry for I
Nice.
didn't hear you, Dr. Quadri. I just wanted to say that we are very much looking forward to see you at our medical schools and become highly qualified doctors for the 21st century. And it's not a business phrase, that's how it is.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot again. Thanks all
Thank
of you.
you.
Thanks all this one. Thank you.